of Scout Motors. Scott, thank you so much for being with us. Talk to us a bit more about the two cars that Scout Motors plans to launch in 2026.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I think the first thing, they're going to be launched under an iconic brand that we're going to bring back to life, Scout Motors. The second thing, they're going to be in the heart and soul of the U.S. car market. We're going to launch a rugged SUV, all electric, and of course a larger pickup truck, again, all electric. So these are the big profit pools in America, and we're excited to get after them.
And talk to us a bit more about how your operations work, because from what I understand, I mean, obviously most car companies have these sort of massive headquarters, but from what I understand, Scout Motors actually functions out of a sort of WeWork office just outside of Washington, D.C. Just explain that to us and just talk to us a bit more about how remote work will be key for Scout Motors' future.
Yeah, look, I think, as you know, we're a startup. And if you start up, you want to watch overhead, you want to watch CapEx, you want to watch your investment, you want to be lean and smart. We want to put our money into the goods. And if you look at the goods, that's, of course, the car, and that's, of course, a manufacturing facility. So, look, we are in startup phase. Of course, we will land at a headquarters, and we will be more semi-traditional at some point. But we want to be lean, we want to be fast, we want to go where the talent is. And that's exactly what we're doing so far.
So will you follow the sort of Tesla model, just in terms of how you're going to get these cars into the hands of consumers? Will you follow the Tesla model of selling cars directly to consumers, or will you use the sort of network of Volkswagen dealers that exist obviously across the United States, of which there are hundreds? What is the best way for you to get these cars into the hands of consumers at this point?
Let's say we're going to figure that out. I think first and foremost, Scout is an entirely independent company. We registered that way. We set it up that way. It always was that way, an independent brand. And so we'll take a look at what's best. But I think you used the key word, customers. We want to do exactly right for customers. We want to build a 21st century go-to-market retail environment using technology and putting customers first. Whether we go with a direct-to-consumer model or go with the dealer model, that's still to be determined. But we're taking a look at it. I think the good news, we're focusing on the product which we have, and we just announced a magnificent factory today.
When you think about what the electric vehicle marketplace looks like, I mean, it's crowded, you know, it's a crowded field, and there are plenty of EV manufacturers that haven't gained as much traction as they would have liked to. What is going to be the sort of one thing that you sort of go to consumers with in terms of what makes you unique, what makes Scout Motors stand out?
I think one thing is Scout Motors, the other thing is the product. So if I look at Scout Motors, what makes us stand out? Resurrecting a much-loved and iconic brand. I think the second thing, which is critical, is a lot of the challenges companies are having is how to build a car, how to ramp up, how to secure supply chains. Obviously, we have the backing of the Volkswagen Group. We have over 200 plants throughout the globe, so we know how to build things. We know how to secure supply chains. We know how to get good cost out of suppliers. And I think the other secret sauce is we can act more nimble. We can act like a startup. As opposed to the brand itself, look, it's simple. You have a very simple proposition in the world. You want to offer a car that's super cool, which we will do, and you want to offer it at a great price. So that's what we're going to do. And yes, I recognize certainly there's some challenges in the EV marketplace, but I think we've got the right combination to do it. I think the other thing that's worth looking at is, you know, the EV market in America is about 5 to 6 points. It's going to move to 50% of the market. So this is a massive transformation. I think another thing that goes unrecognized, there's 300 million internal combustion engine cars driving in America right now. These are all over time going to be transformed. So yes, competitive marketplace, we love that, but massive opportunity. And the time is now, frankly, which is why we're doing it now.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us, Scott. We appreciate it.